Are they a first home buyer? The LVR, the split, the loan purpose. Okay, a lot of detail, employment, income, how much income, where's it coming from? Okay, so they don't have to look for it. Okay, and also info to complete, that's actually what we use for our processing people. So what we do at NLG is this: the loan processor calls the customer to introduce themselves. The loan processor keeps in contact with the customer until 100% of all the personal documentation is received from the applicant. All NLG administration staff follow a strict processing timeline. This has helped us to settle 20 to 25 million per month using this strict process. So the processing timeline is this: awaiting info prior to submission, assessing, pre-approval conditional, unconditional, documents issued, pending settlement, and settlement. I'll go through this now. So in the assessing stage, now this is the critical time. The stories, which is good, the stories I hear about brokers going and seeing a customer, taking their information, then a week later they try and ring them and they haven't got back to them yet. So what we do is we act a little bit more professionally than that. So when we do take the information, okay, we contact the client daily to make sure that they're aware of what's going on during the process, because the process can be a little bit painful depending on the lender you submit it to. So the deal is packaged. The loan processor prepares the deal based on the submission summary and what's prepared by the loan writer. Absolutely 100% of documentation required from all applicants is, we get prior to lodgement. The deal then is signed off. The deal sign-off is this: the loan processor, the deal signed off by a loan writer to ensure that the loan is packaged correctly prior to lodgement to the lender. All submissions are dated and time-stamped. Everything we do now is electronically, so even when a client rings in, we record the conversation. No, we don't record the conversation, we put the conversation into our notes just to make sure that there's no mistakes later. The deal submitted to the lender either by electronic lodgement or fax, depending on the lender. Electronic lodgement preferred. We follow up with the lender every day using the Plan Australian CRM activities system. And daily contact with your customer. Like, I just don't get it why, you know, people take applications and then don't ring the customer back, don't tell them what's going on. Feedback's everything. If a lender's going to take 4 or 5 days, if you tell the customer that, at least they're aware of it. You know, they don't mind. So follow up, daily contact, twice a day. If the customer rings, you lose. This is the stage we like. Pre-approval conditional. At this stage, what we do at NLG, okay, is we have it verified by the senior processor. And the senior processor checks that the bank has assessed the deal correctly, the amount is correct, the product is correct, and the names are correct. This step helps us to identify any issues with the approval and to avoid any problems that occur later in the transaction. We really hone in on this because there's nothing worse than getting to unconditional and the client gets the documents and you're 3 days out from settlement and everything's wrong. So it's pretty important to check this and make sure it's right. Okay, formal unconditional approval. The loan processor calls the customer to advise formal approval. Customer's very excited at this stage. Loan processor keeps in contact with the client, with the lender and the client to ensure documents are issued and promptly returned to the lender. The loan processor monitors the deal until settlement is booked and effected. This is one of the sheets that we put on the front of the. This is one of the sheets that we actually put on the front of the folder. Now this is what is in front of every processor's desk, just so they don't forget, okay? So this is our 31 steps. So you've got, of course, what I've gone through assessing, pre-approval and conditional, unconditional, there's steps there that they have to follow, documents issued, pending settlement, then the settlement steps. Stringent process followed all the way through to settlement. 31 steps in total. I know it seems like a lot, but it's not, okay? It's not. So, and it makes sure that there's no mistakes. Also, NLG employs a successful customer for like strategy, also using their Plan Australia CRM. Now, that was supposed to be inserted there, so I'll just go past that one. I'll come to this. This is the folder that we give out to our clients at settlement. I don't know if you can all see it, if you want to have a look at it later. Now, the reason why I use this folder is about 5 years ago, I went and saw a client who was a physiotherapist in DY, and he had about 9 investment properties. So I got there, we did a deal, and then I said, well, I need your information. So he said, no problem. So I walked into his office, and there was a little thing like this. I opened it up, he said, do you want the rates notice, the bank statement? So everything was there. So what we ended up deciding on doing was giving all these to our clients. Okay, so every year, if we need to go and see them to do a loan, the bank statement's there, the real estate statement's there, the rates notice is there, strata, invoices, incidentals. So if anyone wants to have a look at that later, by all means, it's up here. Okay. So it was great. So in the end, I was with this guy for about 15 minutes photocopying information, and it was all there, which was great. Now, after the deal settles, one of the biggest problems that we found as brokers is that you can't rely on the lender. We do a lot of professional packages, so you can't rely on the lender to set everything up for your client or for your customer. So we were finding that we were ringing people after 6 months and they didn't have their offset set up, okay? They didn't have things running properly. So, and it was a nightmare. So what we decided to do at National Lending Group was put on a customer service manager, okay? Initially part-time until they developed the role. Now, their job, just one sec. Okay. Their job, okay, at settlement was to call the client 4 times in the first year of settlement. So straight after settlement, 2nd month, 6th month, and at the 12-month anniversary. And constantly keep in touch with the existing clients also every 6 months. And also to do our SMSs, newsletters, quarterly birthday cards, quarterly newsletters and SMSs, birthday cards, and also our annual review / health checks. So the customer service manager is pretty important based on the fact that if you don't take the time out and invest back in, you're going to lose your client to the lender or you'll lose it to another broker. Okay. Our newsletter that goes out, it was supposed to be in there. There it is. Can anyone see it? No? If you want to have a look at it later, it's certainly here for you to have a look at. Also what we do, it seems like we do a lot, but we do. We also have a cruise every 6 months. Well, we're doing it annually at the moment, but what it is, it's a way for us to get our top referrers, lenders, of course, NLG staff along. We try and get about 400 or 500 people there and all let them have a good night. We're renowned for our parties. Wouldn't you agree, Adrian? Look, my philosophy on referrers is that in our CRM, okay, they do have their own field, but if they're not your client, well, how can they refer business to you? So, to me, if you haven't sold them a loan, I don't know how you're going to get referrals from them. So, we have them as part of our Customer for Life program. But what we do is we actually, instead of doing them every quarter, we actually SMS them every month. Remember the little things like birthdays and everything else, and that also goes a long way. Okay, so I'm coming to the end. So keep on track and never lose focus. The business has grown now, and I wish you all the best at whichever level you're at. So, and the old saying is it practically runs itself. Well, that's wrong. I've tried that, and that doesn't work. It needs you, even if you are in the background. And that's it. Any questions? Yes? During the assessing process? Well, mate, if it takes you 3 days, okay, to get an approval, you've got a problem. See, my thoughts are that when the loan goes in to the lender, I want an answer within 24 hours, or I want one immediately, because I've given them all the information. So 3 days, they would have given me enough time to get in there, get it, okay, sign them up, and already get it approved. Because that's the time when your client's going to leave you. Okay, because they're really up, you know, they're nervous. So you've got to contact them continuously. Okay, you've got to pamper them. But 3 days is too long. If lenders are taking 3 days to get an approval to you, that's just not good enough. I'd be down their throat. I'd be on the BDM, state manager, I'd be talking to them. Yeah. I don't pay them anything. I give them love. Look, in the early days I did, but when I got to a certain level with our business, okay, I don't anymore. And the reason being is what we do is we give an exceptional level of service. Okay, so I can put on staff and I can get the deal settled. If they want to go to, if a referrer wants to give a referral, okay, to someone that can pay them, well, really, I don't think they're going to be able to have the infrastructure in place, okay, to get the deal settled, because they're not going to make enough money, are they? So, based on that, no, I don't pay referral fees anymore. But in the early days, to get my business running, yes, I did. I did. Yes. Okay, well, what we do is we update what's going on in the market, okay? We try and get them to ring us by, there's a great new fixed rate out at the moment. Take advantage of that. We do the once a month SMSs to our referrers, predominantly, but every quarter to our customers. Okay, so it's a little bit more softer to the customer. It's a little bit more point-driven to the referrers. And again, the referrers are our customers, but these are the people that give us referrals or give us business. They possibly would be an accountant or a solicitor or a managing director of a company that has, influence on their clients. Do I? No. Well, look, okay, we're talking residential or commercial? Okay. Residential loans, you certainly can't. Commercial, if we get paid by the lender, no. If we don't get paid by the lender, and it's a private deal, absolutely. That's tough. That's how I look at it. If you want to earn a wage, go out and get a job. But lending is all about, getting a client and getting it through to settlement. And at the end of the day, you only get paid at settlement. So I don't like taking fees off clients. And personally, if I asked it, I wouldn't get it. But you know what? Everyone's different. Yes.
With the volume of business you run, I'd imagine that you try not to answer every question for your customers all the time, so you must hand them over to your loan processor to answer questions. How do you still keep the...
Okay, well, it depends. Sorry? Oh, can you repeat the question, please? Oh, you want me to repeat the question?
Get on the stage.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you say the question again? Sorry, someone was pushing me. Oh, okay, well, look, okay, it depends on the question. If you're talking about a question regarding the process and the timeline, well, they can ask the processor. If it's a question regarding the loan, the product, all that type of stuff, well, then it gets referred back to the broker. So it depends on the question.
So you just get a message, call this customer?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, we all run Blackberries. okay, or we get text, and we get straight on to the customer and answer the question. And if the guys don't do it, you know, they've got to answer to me. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why not? Why not? Got to have a go. Yep, sorry, yep.
How do you thank your clients for their referrals?
Okay. Do you know what? I didn't cover that because I was a little bit flustered. But what we do is we send them out a letter, okay, thanking them for the referral. Yeah, that's what we do. So we send out a letter straight away. It goes straight into our CRM, and we thank them immediately by that. And also a phone call. Phone call doesn't hurt. Thanks very much. Yes. Mate, I'm a lone rider. You know, we have enough products to concentrate on. No, well, we do mortgages, we do resident, anything to do with money we do. But if you're talking about, no, we do car loans, we do residential, commercial, we do anything to do with money, we deal with it. I'm just not a big fan with brokers selling insurance. I'm not a huge fan of that because I reckon we've got enough to remember. I don't know about you guys, but you know, look at all the loans, all the banks out there. It's mind-boggling. So personally, with me, you know, I think you've got to leave that to the experts. You know, if that's what you mean by cross-selling. But no, certainly in what we do, and we try and have, you know, people that we deal with that do that, so we don't lose the client. Yeah. Well, being a broker, I do whatever the customer wants. So, you know, it comes down to what the customer's needs are. So if the customer says to me, I want to deal with CBA, I'll give them a couple of options, and if they still want to go with CBA, by all means, let's go to CBA, or let's go to Homesite. So the great thing about being a broker is we have all the lenders, and the beauty is, you know, we'll give to our customer what their needs are and what they really want. And again, it comes to who's got the best rates, and they might be looking for a fixed rate or a low doc, and a specific low doc, okay, which only certain lenders will do. So, and that's what our expertise is to find that solution for the client. Yes. Not as many as I used to, okay, but I used to work on the fact of 10 new appointments a week. I don't do that anymore because I got slack, right? And I'll admit that. You know, I got to a stage where, you know, and I've got Ben Wilson works with me predominantly now, and Ben and I work together. Ben's here in the crowd. Hi, Ben. And Benny and I, you know, work as a team, and Ben picks up a lot of that for me now. As little time as possible, Sarah. That's the answer to your question. If I can do it the first time, I'll do it the first time. So if it's a referral, for example, okay, you can be bold enough to ask for all the information up front, send them an email. Okay, everyone, I'm not going to tell everyone how to, to do a pre-qualification over the phone. But certainly what my perfect situation is to do a pre-qualification over the phone, make sure they've got all the information there, and pretty much know what they're going to want by the time I get there, so I can present to them what their needs are. So it depends. Like if it's a cold call, it's a little bit different. You can't do that. Well, you can try, but you know, I think it's been a bit bold. But if it's a new client and it's an existing client or it's a referral, absolutely.
Well, one more question.